If you're into the 21 Pilots lore, then most likely you may have heard the name Simone Weil be thrown around when discussing the lore for the past several months. We here have been throwing it around in correlation to the Clancy, Dema, or Citizen Dema letters that have been left at every FPE, because every single name has a correlation to Simone Weil. To which there are probably a lot of people that are like, who? Who is that? What? Don't worry, we got you. And know who especially got you? A good friend of the channel, a YouTuber, a click theorist by the name of KEONS. KEONS, amazing genius mind who's done a lot of research in Simone. And in fact, saw Tyler over in the UK that did a little fan signing meet and greet there, and KEONS asked specifically about Simone Weil. To which Tyler looked surprised and said, we don't have time to get into all of that. And since then, Tyler has acknowledged KEONS' existence by replying back on the Blurryface account, talking about Simone Weil on stream. Blurryface said, I saw. So KEONS knows what they're talking about. So I'll leave a link to KEONS' Twitter as well as YouTube channels in the description box below. But KEONS uploaded this thread onto the Twitter machine. I asked, hey, can I go ahead and use this for the channel? And KEONS said, go for it. So here is the Simone Weil crash course. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on when you're watching this. How's it going, guys? First off, hope you're having a good day today. Hope your day is going well and hope it continues to go well. Strap right in. Here is your Simone Weil crash course.
Who is Simone Weil, and why do we keep talking about her in correlation with 21 Pilots? Well, let me explain a thread. In the Zane Lowe interview in 2018, there was a picture on Tyler's desktop. In this picture, it is the Bourbaki group, with a few people edited in. In both original photos, there is a woman who is not a part of their group. This woman is called Simone Weil, Andre Weil's sister. Simone Weil was a French philosopher and political activist. She was described as having a precious gift for sympathy and more than a hint of masochism. She sought out the darkness to escape the comfortable bourgeois life. Simone's death was considered a suicide. She starved herself, a hunger strike, in sympathy of starving French compatriots, and died of malnutrition. Weil, yes, it's pronounced Vile, sounds like a connection to Vialism. I decided to look up Vialism and came up with two results, both in relation to Simone Weil. We will call this movement Vialism. I've decided to go on a hunger strike from Mondays to Fridays, eating only naan bread and drinking only water. I'll revert to normal on Saturday and Sundays. I decided this before I read more about Simone Weil's life on the internets. The first was a Google Groups message from 2010. On this page was a man saying he was going to perform a movement called Vialism, where he would also go on a hunger strike. He would then go on to use quite religious language when describing Simone Weil's work. Usually a fast is something people do as a religious practice. However, this man seems to be performing this act to honor his father and as a part of his political movement for the elections. Simone wished for a gospel-type revolution. Enough said. Use my leaflet designed for the ward you are standing in. Stand as an independent. Party politics will end. The House of Parliament will become the House of Independence. We will take over the council first. I will always put you before myself, but will lead until death. Vialism and the glorious gone in lore is when suicide is glorified as a way of reaching paradise. This man is glorifying Simone Weil's suicide. The second was a book written by the University of Windsor in the 1950s. This is what they had to say about Simone Weil. Simone Weil, that socialist mystic, once scrupulously prevented from crossing the final barrier to Catholic conversion, has influenced Miss Murdoch's writing. After recommending her notebooks as an excellent introduction to Miss Weil's life and spiritual pilgrimage, Miss Murdoch stated that many views expressed on sacrifice, guilt, and essential goodness by Max Lejour in The Unicorn originated in Weilean philosophy. Quoting of Vialism, "It is of no avail to act above one's natural level." Miss Murdoch suggested that this ability to react to situations other than the predetermined way, determined by one's own emotional and intellectual makeup, imprisons Michael Midday and other Murdoch characters. Now comes the wishy-washy stuff. There were many quotes that we found that seems like they may have links to the lore, but it's not 100%. First, Vile's definition of kenosis. In order to approach the divine, we must undergo a process called decreation, an undergoing of fundamental separation that occurs when God created the world. We must overcome the separation by overcoming ourselves. Not only does kenosis remind us of the name KEONS, but this is basically a lyric in overcompensate, overtake your former self. Kenosis is also described as self-emptying, a way to become an available vessel. However, in a human nature term and not a religious one, it denotes the continual epiclesis and self-denial of one's own human will and desire. And all I feel is denial, denial, denial. The next quote could sound like the definition of the creation of Dema and Trench. Vile outlines a civilization based not on force, which turns a person into a thing, but on free labor, which in its engagement and with consent to necessary forces at play in the world, including time and death, allows for direct contact with reality. This one could also be a reference to seizing/smearing. Attention consists of suspending our thoughts, leaving it detached, empty, and ready to be penetrated by the object. It means holding in our minds, within the reach of the thoughts, but the lower level and not in contact with it, the diverse knowledge we have acquired, which we are forced to make use of. All above, our thoughts should be empty, waiting, not seeking anything, but ready to receive in its naked truth the object that is to penetrate it. KEONS has the power to focus. We know this from the letters. Is this Simone Vile's power of attention? This quote sounds like someone preparing to be smeared/seized. In jumpsuit, Tyler is standing still, waiting for Nico to approach him and smear him. In Levitate, Tyler is sitting, staring into space before Nico comes and grabs him by his neck. Tweets I found referring to Vialism as a religion. Fun. Clancy. The perplexities of Dema's horizon didn't occur to me until my 9th year. It was then I began to contemplate the existential and decide what impression I wanted my life to make. Simone. At 14, I fell into one of those fits of bottomless despair that come with adolescence, and I seriously thought of dying because of the mediocrity of my natural faculties. Simone. I did not mind having no visible successes. But what did grieve me was the idea of being excluded from that transcendent kingdom, which only the truly great have access and wherein truth abides. I preferred to die rather than live without that truth. Clancy. How had I not seen something so obvious? I'm reminded of this moment daily as the idolization directly collides with a unique hope for my own future. As a child, I looked upon Dema with wonder. Today, I am wrought with frustration, as I spend each day squinting for a glimpse of the top of the looming wall that keeps us here. It was upon my 9th year that I learned Dema wasn't my home. This village, after all this time, was my trap. After months of inward darkness, I suddenly had the everlasting conviction that any human being, even though practically devoid of natural faculties, can penetrate to the kingdom of truth reserved for genius, if only he longs for truth and perpetually concentrates all his attention upon its attainment. He thus becomes a genius too. Even though the lack of talent, his genius cannot be visible from the outside. Quote that surprised me. This idea came to me when I was contemplating a mountain landscape, and little by little it was imposed on me in an irresistible manner. Connection to the feeling you have committed crimes. I think I told you, I have a germ of all possible crimes, or nearly all, within me. I became aware of this in the course of a journey in the circumstances I have described to you. The crimes horrify me, but they did not surprise me. I felt the possibility of them within myself. It was actually because I felt this possibility in myself that it filled me with such horror. This natural disposition is dangerous and very painful, But like every variety of natural disposition, it can be put to a good purpose if one knows how to make the right use of it with the help of grace. It is a sign of vocation, the vocation to remain in a sense anonymous, ever ready to be mixed into the paste of common humanity. Lyric, I've committed dirty, dirty crimes.
And my friends, that is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many ways we can go down this rabbit hole, especially when talking about Simone Vile's in one of her works, Venice Saved, where it literally has a council of not 9, but 10. It's Tyler, so we'll just go one lower and say 9. But literally, it's drama, it's a council of 10 people, and there's corruption and trying to overthrow a system. And there's a literal quote is, empty eyes will look around in vain for places, houses or churches. Their songs will never again be heard. They will have no voice for their laments. This sea for them will always be mute the day after day, and for their life they will hear nothing, only orders. This it's a rabbit hole that we can spend a whole time researching, that I personally don't have the time anymore to do a whole deep dive, but that is where KEONS got you. Like I said, go follow KEONS on the Twitter machine, go follow KEONS on YouTube, subscribe, link down in description box below. Definitely go give us up, because KEONS, amazing mind in the fact that the pilots have interacted with KEONS means that they know they are the pilots. It looks like, yeah, no, they got it. So go subscribe to KEONS and have fun. Have fun. Go watch the live streams. Go watch the videos on the channel. Go read some theory threads. I am off to bed. I've been up since 5:30, so I'm gonna get some sleepy. Goodbye and good night. More importantly, have a good day, and I'll see you guys later.